My life with spinocerebellar ataxia. One of my favourite activities is to study family history or genealogy. I've been doing a university course on genealogy and I'm been thoroughly enjoying it. But when you're doing that, it requires you to look at a lot of old documents, handwritten documents, faded documents, and in this case, which I'm going to show you, is photographs. Now with photographs, I have to look at these for my research, whether it be in my own family or someone else's family, to help me date photographs. There's different processes for dating a photograph. It can be the type of photo that it is, or the type of clothing that the people are wearing, their hairstyles, this studio that it was taken in, whether it's got a particular type of background or no background, or if it's taken outside. All of these are indicators to date a photograph. Now I'll show you this one. Now, as you can see, it's a sort of a sepia come grayscale, more in the sepia line of a photograph. But under the machine, it comes up as yellow. So what I would normally do in that case is change it to a grey scale, but I won't bother today, as this is just a demo of what I use the machine for. Now, it's quite a small photo, and to help me date the photo or get a greater understanding of the photo or whatever, I can blow this right up and I can have a look at that background there. I can see if that's in any other photographs that I know of that I might have a specific age for, because a lot of the photographers, this particular one was taken in Sydney, and a particular photographer might use a particular type of background. And if I change this to grayscale, I would also, and change the light around, or I might even turn the light off and use natural light or an external light, I could see greater detail of the children's clothing and her clothing, her hairstyle, any clips that she's got in her hair, if she has any jewellery on. In the case of an older woman, sometimes they have various pieces of jewellery on, their shoes, everything I could look at, I can magnify up. Now I can magnify that little girl to quite a large degree, and in grayscale I would probably see more detail. That child obviously has very bright blue or green eyes, which is the same as her mother by the look of it. The younger girl has light eyes as well. The older girl, her eyes are light, but they look a bit darker. So anyway, that is how I look at old photographs, and that same goes for documents, handwritten documents, which are very hard to read. Sometimes it's easier to make out the writing when you've blown it up. You can see similarities in some letters and guess the word and then get to know what the letters are, etc., etc. So this machine comes in extremely handy for my genealogical studies. As you can see, there's some flowers on the thing there, and sometimes you can see what types of flowers they are, and all of this adds interest to the photograph. a lot of photographers didn't use props early on. Later on they did, and all this helps with dating the particular photograph. Lots of old photographs were very tiny, as you can see by this one I'm holding, and it makes it very hard to pick up the details of these tiny little photographs. This particular one was taken in about 1939 to 40, oh no, it would have been more like 1940, I think. These soldiers were heading off overseas to Singapore before Singapore fell to the Japanese. Now, I can blow this up. Again, normally I would put this in grayscale because it is a grayscale picture and it would show up much better. But as you can see, I can blow it right up and I can read the numbers on their helmets. And they've got all their gear to go on the ship to go overseas. And you can see their uniforms quite well. There's a lot of damage on this photograph. This one would be an ideal candidate to scan and repair so that it can be put into an album. You keep the originals, of course, but you can repair these, and that's another thing I enjoy doing on my computer, is repairing photographs, whether they're modern or old. But it's very interesting to read their numbers and all these little details that you wouldn't normally take much notice of. And these poor men, as you can see, some of them are smiling, not knowing the horrors that they were about to face in Thailand and Burma. A lot of them ended up on the Burma Railway, and this is the sort of thing, this historical stuff is something I really, really enjoy, and this machine is allowing me to enjoy my passion. One other wonderful benefit, amongst many others that I'm not actually going to go into today because there's just so many with the Clearview, but as I said before, I just wanted to show you the basics of this machine and the benefits that it has for me. One of the major benefits is my laptop. Now, my laptop is something I can't, sorry, something's still opening. My computer takes 10 years to load up. Where was I? Oh yes, my laptop I can't see, basically. Prior to this, prior to obtaining the Clearview, I had to plug it into an external monitor which was, shall we say, somewhat outdated, or I would have to plug it into my TV, which wasn't at all convenient. Now I can plug it into my Clearview, and I have a wonderful monitor that I can sit close to, and I'm able to see the entire screen, which I couldn't before when I was using an external monitor because it wasn't exactly compatible. And it's not portable, of course I can't take it anywhere, but for the time being this is fantastic because I can now do my genealogy work. I can swap between the Clearview if I'm magnifying something and the laptop where I'm doing my work, and it's just been a marvelous piece of equipment, and the being able to plug the computer into it has been life-changing. I just think it's wonderful. I generally use magnification in Windows, so it's already blown up a bit, so I tend not to adjust the actual Clearview itself. I can sit my keyboard, I lock the reading table, and I can sit my keyboard on there so it's handy. I can just slip that off and slip my documents underneath it for reading if necessary for uni, and I'm finding it marvellous. Now there's other things that the Clearview will do. It will photograph printed documents and read them to me. Now this comes in extremely handy for long documents that I may get and I find it tedious to try and read them or tiring. Also, you can set the reading view to read one line at a time if you like. Instead of having a whole screen full of text, you can just do one line at a time. All things like this that make the reading experience so much better. It's wonderful for bills that I still get some bills in print format. I find it particularly useful for where I live because they send out a newsletter in print and it's always in, I think it's about 11-point font, and that calendar I was showing you before is in 9-point font, things of which I couldn't access at all. So I just wanted to show you my wonderful new machine, and I'm extremely happy with it. And if you're able to get some kind of machine similar to this, please do. Oh, you can see me. I don't want to see me. That's it for today, but I'll be back again soon, hopefully, with another episode in my life with spinocerebellar ataxia. Bye-bye.